I didn't grow up with a father figure in my life, so most of what I've learned about men and how they actually acted was through media. Movies, in particular, taught me how men were supposed to act, and what they did not do was considered to be feminine. Men who were viewed as strong and powerful, such as Hercules, were a common identity that I saw in movies. Another one was where they might not be as physically strong, but they could still be charismatic, like Peter Pan. Both, however, held strong to the identity of masculinity and rejected the idea of portraying feminine qualities.
The Disney movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, is a tale that directly deals with the more extreme effects of abject otherness and discrimination. It also plays with the idea of having a male protagonist who fits within the confines of hegemonic masculinity. Quasimodo, as a protagonist, has tremendous strength, like you would expect from a masculine male protagonist, though not the typical chiseled physique. He's also unconventional with his personality, where he displays more feminine traits of naivety, kindness, shyness, and timidness. It wasn't Quasimodo's feminine traits that subjected him as the other. Quasimodo was born with a physical disability that classified him as a monster, and because of that, Judge Frollo, who was tasked with raising Quasimodo for atonement, isolated Quasimodo in the bell towers of Notre Dame. This isolation backfired when Quasimodo left the cathedral to witness a fool's festival. Part of the festival involved dressing in masks and showing ugly faces. When Quasimodo was brought to the stage as a winner for the ugly competition, his disability was revealed to the public for the first time, and he was humiliated for all to see. The only one who defended and showed compassion to Quasimodo was Esmeralda, who, as a gypsy woman taking refuge in Paris, also experienced discrimination. She saw past Quasimodo's disability and saw his heart. It was a kindness Quasimodo had never known before, as he was always isolated from the outside world. This festival was abject otherness to its extreme. There is a contest for who can be the ugliest. Rather than being a celebration of unconventional bodies, it displays these bodies as bodies you should humiliate and degrade, as Quasimodo unfortunately discovered harshly.
The Little Rascals is a great example of the abject otherness and hegemonic masculinity. This movie has proven to be a favorite to hundreds of people, but if you look deeper into it, it has some problematic scenes. This movie is a great example of what the abject otherness is and what it means, and it also pulls in a lot of hegemonic masculinity. This movie is very clear on what they portray as the abject otherness and how men should act and behave. In this movie, the abject otherness is women, girls, and femininity. The characters in this movie are all a part of a club in which they're instructed to never talk, think, or interact with girls. Not only are girls not allowed in this clubhouse, but they are also looked down upon and not respected. There is definitely the idea that boys are those who are supposed to grow up and be extremely manly with absolutely no femininity in them whatsoever. In this movie, they say a pledge that gives an idea on how they view women. The exact quote is, "I, a member of the good standing of the He-Man Woman Haters Club, do solemnly swear to be a He-Man and hate women and not play with them or touch them unless I have to, and especially never fall in love, and if I do, I may slowly and painfully suffer for hours or until I scream bloody murder." One main point in this movie is that the character Alfalfa falls in love with Darla. In order to keep seeing her, they have to sneak around and nobody can know about it. In this scene, Alfalfa is confessing his love to Darla by singing to her. He tells her that he is a sensitive male. He is sharing, caring, feeling, and healing. He also says that he is in touch with his feminine side. As you can see, the group becomes disgusted when Alfalfa says this. At one point in the movie, one of the characters talks about how a girl had moved in across the street. He stated that she had come over just because she had wanted to play, but he had used his lizard to scare her off. In this scene, another character states that if a manly man had fallen off a building, he would go out of his way to land on a girl. Another main part of this movie is that they're building a cart to race in the go-kart derby. In this scene, one of the characters holds up the flyer of the derby and they talk about how AJ Ferguson is presenting the award. They are all in awe of this character and they can't wait to meet him. However, at the very end of this movie, it is revealed that AJ Ferguson is in fact a girl and that they are all thrown off by this idea. It is at this point in the movie where they start to finally accept girls.
I'm older now, and I would like to think smarter than when I was a child. I've come to realize that not all men in movies are based on feats of strength and power. Despite that, most movies still hold tightly to the idea of a strong male lead.
So, is there a possibility that there can be a change in how men are portrayed in media?
I think there is. Several movies already have challenged the normal identity of masculinity in movies. Very few have challenged the identity of hegemonic masculinity. However, one movie in particular challenges the identity of hegemonic masculinity greatly. Those movies are the fantastical beast movies, and the main protagonist in those movies is a man named Newt Scamander. And Newt isn't your typical male hero. He, for one, is not very strong or charismatic. Identity is usually filled with male protagonists in movies. Newt's greatest strength comes from being empathetic and caring to other people and creatures. This isn't a trait normally associated with male identities, where their greatest strength is often their physical prowess or their charisma. Because of that, Newt is often seen as weak and vulnerable and not very well liked. To that end, the audience didn't find him very engaging and he was considered boring by many people because he was not the normal male protagonist type that people see in movies such as Thor. However, despite that, this is a change from the norm, and it could be a good change. If more movies could have male identities that were similar to Newt Scamander and Fantastical Beasts, males who were empathetic and caring instead of powerful, charismatic, and strong, then it could change how men are portrayed in movies. Although it is possible, it will take some time.